Yeah. Okay. So you know what? Since this podcast technically started, I will. The people who are not viewing it, Kiran is adjusting the table, the mic, the lighting, the setting, the
hair, makeup, Nani, Michelle,
coffee, chai,
Donnie. Where are you? Where are you, Mark Paul?
Where are you, Kiran?
Where am I?
Where
I don't
are
know.
you?
What day is it?
It is the Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast Day.
Ooh, ooh.
Karen.
Is that what I was supposed to do?
You were supposed to do the intro.
Doesn't
We
matter.
were prompting you.
Oh, shit.
But this is funnier. Whatever.
What? I thought I was just tagging out her intro.
No.
She does the intro, and then I'm like...
Because there was, we needed an intro. We don't need an intro. What's
you say the intro again, and we'll do it again.
No, I want to keep this.
Yeah,
We'll do it again.
We
It's
can
just going to
still
be the
do it
same
again.
thing,
okay,
but
okay,
cleaner.
keep doing it.
All right, so you're going to choreograph this intro.
Ooh, ooh. That's a hilarious noise.
All right.
Is that your favorite noise?
It might be up there. I like that one. I like
What-
mouth
name
farts,
it.
too.
What- you like mouth farts?
Yeah.
I can only do one type of mouth fart. That's the only kind of mouth fart I can
Oh,
do.
you got to diversify.
I don't know how to do the other ones.
You're an Indian woman. You got to
Basic
diversify.
mouth
I
fart.
can't do other
You're
mouth
basic.
farts. What are other mouth farts?
That was the same. Oh, okay.
Oh, I did that one. Oh, I can't do that one. I can't do that one.
This is probably not going to be so appealing for your viewers.
It's all
My
coming
roommate
from the
called you a
mouth.
very smart comic.
Wow. Thank you
And
so much.
He was
Thank you.
disappointed he missed you last night.
Yeah.
Highbrow, lowbrow. I like to do some really
Smart
heady
about
stuff,
dumb
and then
shit.
do some, and then
Dumb
do
about
some,
smart shit.
Yeah.
then do some boob fart toilet humor.
Under boob fart.
Some of us don't have under boobs.
I mean, if there's a boob, there's a surface below.
Yeah, I'm
right?
still looking.
Welcome to the Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast. I am with your two hosts, Pallavi Gurung and Fizza Dasani.
What was that last
Pallavi
name?
Gurung.
That's not my last name, Karen.
I feel like it is. It is now.
not.
It is now. What's your last name?
Ganalin.
Let's give the. I want to give the
Just a different
listeners some
name.
context. Kieran and I, we had our show last night. We were all at the Facial Recognition
Who are
Comedy
you
Show,
talking
and
about?
Kieran was up with me till 2, 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
3 a.m. Was it 3 a.m.?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
got
even
to
know
bed
when
at-
you went to sleep. That's when I left you.
Yeah.
That's
Kiran
when I
Deol
dropped you off at your car.
is here.
She's here. She's awake. I
She's
think
a comedian.
she's lucid dreaming.
does
Yes.
documentaries, podcasts. She's amazing.
It is a fever dream right now.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah.
What did you guys talk about until 3 a.m. last night?
Just everything. Life,
Life.
liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That was actually the podcast. Now, we didn't do the fart sound, so now we're gonna finish
that's what
that
we
up.
have to
yeah,
talk about.
We have fart sounds left. Mouth farts, boob farts.
all the things. There's a lot of leg touching. It's a little inappropriate,
Last night?
but delightful.
Was there leg touching?
No, there wasn't. I'm just trying to make it salacious for the viewers.
Was there a casting couch?
There
No,
was French toast.
there was French
Oh, that
toast, and there
sounds
was
so good.
like a
I'm so
Toyota
hungover,
Camry.
you guys.
Yeah, you were getting drunk while we were like
I want French toast
chatting
right
like
now.
old
It was
ladies.
delicious. We split half a chicken burger. This is the material that the people are looking for.
They need it's celebrities. They're just like
They're
us.
just like us.
I just-
Cafe 101. They didn't have chicken tenders. We don't know why. Chicken burger. We ate it. We split it.
Was that a
Then-
burger? I thought it was a chicken sandwich.
That's right. Chicken burger, chicken sandwich.
Very different things.
Yeah, ground up and one's a patty. A burger's a patty.
Oh,
Ground up
interesting.
meat is a patty. I also noticed that I said that you were getting hungover last night, not drinking.
Oh, yeah, I was
It's very
in the
result oriented.
yeah, you're
Focus on
very
the
like, what
process.
is that? Where does this lead you to? To now.
You were getting hungover.
where I can't keep up with this conversation.
How long
love
will we
language.
be on this podcast together?
Like an hour, 3 hours.
100
No.
minutes. 177 minutes.
Are we timing?
We should start.
We should start the podcast. Leg touching.
I don't want to ask.
I am a leg
any
toucher.
questions.
I like
I'm a
it.
covert leg toucher. I didn't know that. Oh my god.
We know
Do
each
you-
other so well, so that's a hard one. It's like you lead me and I'll follow your lead. I'll
don't-
follow you wherever you go.
I don't want to lead. I think we should all traverse together.
You know what? I think let's all just be here now. We're here. Where's Zara?
She's not here.
Zara's
But she
not
will be.
here. All right.
but everyone else
leg
is here.
touching. Do you feel like when you touch
Zara's-
people, it
Zara will be here
connects you
soon.
more in conversation?
Yes.
Pallavi
When you do it. Oh, yes.
Kieran's leg.
Salacious.
Kieran exhales
Is that like?
deeply.
Does that work for flirting when you is like because people
You were
always say
supposed
you're
to touch during
'em.
flirting. Like it was one of the. I was getting a
I'm
one.
so awkward.
I
It's
was
a
getting a
sign.
101 lesson in how to be a better flirt.
Are you bad at flirting? I'm bad at flirting.
Flirting is because I'm so charming as a human woman in general. You know, I'm charming like a Cary Grant or, you know, just like a man. I'm charming like a man, and then people mistake that for flirting in general because I'll
Yeah.
be charming. But it's like if you're actually flirting, you're supposed to do stuff like. You're supposed to do stuff like somebody was explaining, like tacit compliments, and then you're supposed to make
Effective flirting. That's what you're talking about, right?
Effective flirting.
Effective flirting to
So
get the
it would be like,
results.
you know, it would
What
be
about
like
just putting your walls up and negging them the whole time? Does that work?
Yeah,
also
I mean,
good
that feels
note.
more natural.
Yeah.
and then and making contact, a lot of
Yeah.
eye contact. But I'm a very intense person. I've been accused of making too much eye contact on the regular with everyone,
I'm
and
just imagining you on a bus.
I am. on
Kieran
it.
doesn't blink.
No blinking.
That's eyebrow.
Eyebrows go up.
That's
Yeah.
eyebrow raising.
Is that a thing to flirt?
I don't think so.
That's
I don't
like
think
a-
so.
that's a way to repel.
That's like how a skunk shows interest in you, like
You're
a cartoon
Well,
skunk.
Yeah, lecherous men love to raise their eyebrows.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to get on.
Like if
board.
someone walked by you on the street and they like just went like,
Oh, this is
That
funny.
would, you
So
know.
I was hanging out with a girlfriend of mine, and we were walking downtown, and she did have kind of a short on, very cute girl, and we're together, and people kept beeping and saying untoward things, and I just had this impulse. Like I turned around and I was like, "That's very rude, sir, and it's not appreciated." And it was just like these dudes were just like so happy to be acknowledged.
I know. That's
Like
why I
the-
ignore. I got someone was hitting on me when I was walking, and I was like ignoring the shit out of him, and it pissed him off so bad, which was making me laugh on the inside. But he was like too close to me,
Yeah.
and then he was like following me, and then I entered the building, and like as I was entering the building, he was like, I don't even care, you ugly boy," or something like that. And I was like, why were you hitting on me for so long? But I think ignoring
And
them
you're like,
pisses them
"Ooh,
off.
hard turn, 180 plot twist."
I know. I'm like, let's fuck. That's my fetish.
You should have you
Being
should have turned around and
misgendered.
been you should have turned around and been like, "Changed my mind."
I should have been like,
Psych, 2 plot
I
twists,
should have
3
been
plot
like,
twists.
Oh my
changed my mind.
Ah,
baby.
so he likes boys, which is a condition.
I wouldn't call that a condition. That's a preference.
No, if you're an
Oh.
adult.
If you're an adult and you like baby boys, yeah, that's something.
What do you think of the fact, like, sometimes people will be like, "Oh, okay, but you're going to miss that attention when you no longer get it as a woman."
You know,
You're gonna
I
miss
think
it.
about that sometimes.
Do you think that that's true? Do you agree with that statement?
I think there's pros and cons with both. I think I'll appreciate being acknowledged as a person, but yeah, I might miss being objectified. Because sometimes, it's
Sometimes I do dress up to get compliments, but like the people who are like, "Oh, you want me to compliment you," are never the right people.
That's correct.
So it's like, this isn't for you. This is for very specific people.
I will say one
Correct.
thing, like
Zara got
Zara just came in.
Did
She
you-
was so
Very
sick.
pretentious.
She just
All
tripped
on
over every wire.
Trying to be very, whatever.
Have you guys heard the term hot privilege?
Yes.
Hot privilege?
Hot privilege. Like there's, a certain, there's a privilege to being attractive.
My
so
friend has
losing privilege sucks. So yeah, maybe losing that could, as we age,
my friend was talking
that
about
could be annoying.
my friend was talking about how when she goes into her bank and she's not made up,
Yeah.
they don't recognize her. And then it was like a few times she's gone in like after an audition or when she looks very dressed up or something, and they're like, "Hello, ma'am. Oh, please take a lollipop." Like
People
it's
will
just
treat
like
you differently.
yeah.
people treat
Absolutely.
you differently.
It's an immediate difference. The days I do my makeup and hair and go out
Yeah.
versus I just go out in my pajamas.
right.
See, I don't want to get accustomed
sure.
to that, which is why I always wear pajamas.
Right.
I just,
know,
it's
I
too
t-
hard if a lot.
I take myself down a notch. Like, I'll post like really ugly Instagram
I'll
stories
take
now.
myself down a notch.
Just because I'm just like, be grounded, bitch.
Yeah, and then
And
when
I'll,
you
like, post
when
it.
you try a little, everyone will be like, "Oh, you look so fucking great!" Like that's the way to do it, right?
Why don't you dress up more?
And you literally put on lip gloss.
No,
Like,
but if you dress
set the
up
bar
more,
low.
people then expect it all the time. So the days that you're like a little bit off, people are like, "Are you okay?"
You are so right because you
look
look
so
tired.
tired.
Yeah,
you do look tired.
Expectations
You do.
low.
You
Thank
do.
you.
she's
No,
wearing makeup.
She looks beautiful.
No,
she
I
always
look
looks
very
beautiful. She's
tired.
glowy.
I think I went
Glowy
to
as
bed
fuck.
at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. last
Yes.
night. Yeah.
We
I'm
were
tired.
all
We
at
were
your show.
out.
We stopped
Yeah.
eating French toast toast at 2 or 3 a.m.
That's correct.
We had a.
You all were eating French toast without me? What happened?
You
Zara,
left.
people exist
You had a
without
show. You had a show.
I did have a show.
She's
yeah.
like, people exist without, but no, I'm pretty.
No.
I'm pretty.
Was it
No,
because I look tired? Is that why?
We
Why
don't want to
is
lose that
it-
privilege.
No, why is it that you guys wait for the one time I have a show after our show to go hang out together?
So the thing is this wasn't planned around your schedule.
I know. That's fine. Nothing's planned around my schedule.
Next time I do your show, we'll do a hang afterwards. It'll be
Sure.
delightful.
Yeah,
It'll
that
be
would
nice
be
because we don't
great.
get to hang enough.
I know.
Even this, we're still doing an activity. It's actually very South
You know what?
Asian. We
Yeah.
get
I think
together
last
and we
time
do
we
an
were all
activity.
supposed to hang, she got sick on purpose.
Yeah.
Why?
Very
Stop getting
sick.
sick, Karen.
I know.
Why?
So
Are
all
you
4 of us
better?
were
Are
supposed
you
to go
all
to
good?
like.
The immune system's been giving me some trouble. I think you
Boo.
gotta stay real relaxed. You can't let anything
Oh.
get to you too much.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotta stay relaxed. Relax it.
Relax it. How do you do that though? How do you stay relaxed?
You're silly. You're a silly goose. I think that
We
You
were
just keep things
pondering
silly?
that was a big thing about what we were talking about last night. Is how do you
Self-care,
stay sane?
How do you I think exercises are regularly exercising. I think like meditating. I think maybe reaching out to folks who are friends or, who have, who might be a couple steps ahead of you or like doing things that are similar to you or already have like kind of trod the path that you're going on, getting feedback and thoughts from other people, remembering that we're part of a collaborative or a community, eating the food of others, that kind of thing.
Eating the food of
just
others.
like picking off people's plates. and
That's
shit.
correct.
Yeah,
That's
I like
correct.
doing that at restaurants too.
Yeah, getting
Just,
getting things for free,
You
getting
seem-
extra wine tastings.
You seem
Bitch
so
shit.
much more relaxed. I feel like all of this is working for you.
When?
Then I think the last time we all hung out, there was food involved. And you
Oh, and
weren't as relaxed.
Oh, that was at that diner when I was very sick. Also, I
Yes.
just sound like I just sound like an Oliver Twist. So sickly. I've never been this way. Yeah, that was. I was quite. That day I dragged myself out. I was quite, and everything had soy in it, and I
What
couldn't
day
eat
was
it.
that?
I don't know. Remember we had like Thai omelets or something.
I
So we did
do.
make it out at one
We
point.
did.
Green grass.
This
it
was
was
the
like,
last
yeah.
time that I had a meal with Kiran.
Like
This was
3 years
months
ago.
and months ago.
I want to say it was around this time last year
Like
because
60 something months ago.
because it was the other TV show, right?
The
Yeah.
previous pilot.
The
yeah.
previous pilot.
Yeah.
And now we're on the new pilot.
Yeah.
which
yeah.
is gonna be on NBC.
It's
NBC
coming.
Sunnyside.
It's coming.
What's
I'm
the
so
premiere date?
excited.
It's coming like a bus with your face on it.
Your face. Karen's face is on a bus.
Did you
It's
get my
like-
1 a.m. my 1:30 a.m.
Loved that. It was
pictures
great.
from Sunset
Billboard.
Boulevard?
It was
That was
very
by the
adorable.
Comedy Store,
That was
right?
by the Comedy
Yeah.
Store.
Yeah, it's weird. I will say I did go to the one on Silver Lake Boulevard, and my friend had sent it to me, and I went, and I was like parked at the BP gas station, and I was like looking at it, and I was really like, wow, like when you see it in person, you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, that's like really quite amazing, and it's like the whole cast, which is really cool. And then a woman walks by with a shopping cart. Everyone's ignoring me, and I like took some time and I looked, and then when I turned back around, like kind of having this private moment to myself, she was like getting cans out of the trash in front of my car, and I was like, it's such a perfect metaphor for Los Angeles, because I was like, no one is paying attention to what anyone else is doing, and it was like everyone is just entirely in their own world. I'm like, wow, look at this. No one cared I was there, which means that, guys, I think it's clear we all need to double back, wearing scrubs and troll every single one of these billboards, and all pretend that we're me.
You can't
Use
cover
it
all
as
of them
a-
at the same
You
time.
know what I
so-
Oh my
mean?
good, we should go take pictures.
And it's
with
like
you.
we start
what?
like a so it'll be like Peacock meets facial recognition, and it'll be like I can be in front, or whoever can be in front. It doesn't really matter. But then we're all stacked behind each other. So when somebody comes to say
Wearing
hello to
scrubs.
yeah, all stacked behind
Okay.
each other, and then it's like when somebody comes to say hello, then it would be like somebody else comes out and somebody else comes out.
Some
And people are
Twilight
like,
Zone
yeah,
shit.
yeah, exactly.
Hello.
Very like and it's like we're all Mallory, and people are like, what? And I'm
They gave
like,
you a white
"Yeah."
girl name.
That's
that
your
was
character's
actually,
name,
that-
Mallory?
No, that's so Cal named the characters. I
Pen.
believe Cal Pen.
Funny
Cal Pen.
side.
Is this Cal's script? Can you talk about any of
Cal co-created it. I think I can say this. Yeah,
Okay.
Cal co-created it with a fellow named Matt Murray, who is, I think, a co-EP on Brooklyn Nine-Nine previously and a writer on The Good Place who's really excellent. And then it was executive produced by Mike Schur, who's the guy who did Parks and Rec and The Good Place. And
These are all, this is like an amazing.
the pedigree's very high.
Yeah, it's
yeah, very, very wonderful
man.
group of humans.
I'm so excited to
Can
watch
you-
this.
Can you tell us where you are on the call sheet? Because that's pretty cool.
I am, yeah. Does anyone even know what that
Yeah.
means?
I mean,
They'll understand.
It's like your ranking in the show, kind of.
I mean, I think that this is like a deeply ensemble show
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it's really like deeply ensemble.
But isn't it? So how is it determined? Like lines or?
I have no idea. Like in my heart, I don't know the answer to that question of how they determine.
What's
that.
the lowest you've ever been on a call sheet? Like, what's
Not
the
on a call
biggest number?
sheet.
Yeah.
negative call
well,
sheet?
like when you're like a
What?
guest star and
Yeah.
stuff, I don't know what those numbers. I have no idea.
But you notice, like, they'll still put a number there, and it'll be like 402 or
you're
something.
like that's hurtful. That's hurtful. I feel like I think it'd be great if
It'll
they
jump
like
from, like,
reset.
a
They reset
number.
back to 1.
You have a number.
You have a number.
It's all
You know?
relative.
You always
it's all
have a number.
relative. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It-
that's like
it
the
was-
levels.
It was interesting on the
career.
last. So on the last pilot, I was 1 on the call sheet, which means the lead, which is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Like those days are very, very long. So it's interesting to be like, this one's 2, and so it's like this. It's interesting because it's like the show shoots pretty quickly. It shoots like the DP is very, very quick. They have like 5 days an episode. They usually
That's
do it.
fast.
But for
How many
I think-
pages a day?
I think for like about 6 pages a day,
Yeah.
and then but they shoot 3 to 4 cameras quite quick, and so they're usually under 12 hours, which is pretty amazing. And then like I kind of
12
get blocked-
hours per episode?
No,
Or
per day.
per day.
Per day. Okay.
5
got
days
it.
an episode.
Yeah, I was like, this is so.
and then but it's like you get block
Okay.
shot out pretty like they're very efficient. My point is that they're
Yeah.
very, very, very efficient.
Yeah.
They're
What a brown show.
They're very efficient. They really know what's up. But yeah, this is really Cal's vehicle with like a very strong ensemble group of people who are all immigrants, and it's really
can't
it's a
wait
really
to
nice
watch
group of
it.
people,
So
and I hope
happy.
people
Yeah. And
hope
I
people
love
like
that
it.
it takes place in Queens, right?
Yeah, and it shoots in LA.
Oh man.
Yeah, just like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
It's like shoots in LA.
But Queens is supposed to be like one of the most diverse places
Yeah, it is
in the country. I was born in Queens, so I'm like very excited to
Tight.
to watch this and see what it's like.
But I think Cal named the characters, and he talked about this in the TCAs, which is when they talk to the journalists. But it's like, so I think it was the parents in his mind named them Garrett and Mallory from Happy Days.
Oh, okay.
Like they were big fans of these television shows, and he was saying that he kind of like when he plays characters that are named, because he's been around for a long time, so he's like when he plays Indian characters, he gets kind of, why does he have to have an Indian name? And then when he plays like characters with white names, it's like, why do they have white names? So I think he really wanted to give some like narrative justification to why they were named what they were named, because
Instead of some arbitrary.
Who was
Yeah.
Garrett
Google
and Mallory
of
on Happy Days? I used to watch
name or
religiously.
this is
with
a
my
great
grandma.
question and research I should have done.
Yeah,
Stop
no,
showing the crap.
I'm sorry. We
I
can
was
do.
also curious about
I
this.
used to love that show.
Here, like
and
I
I
love the
don't
way you're like,
remember.
you just have the answers to everything.
I
in
only
your
remember
palm.
Richie Cunningham. That's the only name.
It's
I,
in the
and
cloud.
Potts.
We're looking it up on
Potts and
Google.
Fonz.
I didn't know.
Patsy and Fonz. That's it.
He told me that, and I just
There
smiled
is
and
someone
nodded.
named Garrett Mallory Scott who's an actor. This is not what we're talking about.
Garrett and Mallory
But
from
who are the
Happy
characters?
Days.
I know, but I just found that interesting.
that is interesting.
You go, Garrett Mallory. You're the first thing to pop up when I even Google with the words Happy Days. So
Get it, Garrett Mallory. Maybe that was
Get it, Garrett Mallory
Get
Scott.
a gallery.
Gallery.
So how
Mallet.
many were there
Mallet.
Harold and Kumar references on set
No.
with Cal Penn? Like everybody was kind of respectful about it. Like no White Castle references.
I think he took one photograph when he was in Sunnyside that he sent to us that was like outside of a White Castle with like just to the
cute.
cast and stuff. It was very cute when he was shooting
good.
for the pilot. But I mean, for the most part, that was it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of stuff since then. He was
had
in the Obama
I know.
administration.
I had
Yeah.
a tweet that was like,
Very
in
accomplished.
White Castle 2, like he inspires me so much because 1 year before he was working for the Obama administration, he was jizzing in his own face in White Castle too. And I was
mean,
just like,
Yeah.
What a
it's
life this man has led.
inspirational.
He's-
He just
he's-
lived different lives.
He's got so much range, you know.
And then he was a professor, I think.
He was a professor at
Penn.
So much range.
I mean, he's just got life range. What
Yeah.
range? I mean, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
When
that was a
you
double entendre.
live a number of experiences in your real life.
Oh,
What's
shit.
that called? What range? Oh,
I
he's
don't
done.
know.
I mean, he's done a lot of
Such a
things
good
and stuff.
actor.
He's a
that
very
he's acting
versatile
as a
person.
professor and acting as a political advisor.
Yeah.
And
He's acted like my friend.
wow.
But is he my
What an
friend?
amazing actor.
you know,
You're like, we know you, and we're still not your friends.
so you play his sister.
I play his sister.
Okay, because when I actually went out for that role, and it was the older sister at first, and I couldn't.
Was it? Yeah.
And I was like,
Ah.
how, but
She
you know,
put her pigtails away. She's like,
Wait,
"Ugh."
so you
Yeah.
play his older
Yeah.
sister? Because Calpen is definitely.
I
older
think
than
I
you.
think they adjusted.
Yeah,
they
so it
must
was like
have,
they made it. I think they made it a younger
Yeah.
sister, or I think by the time I went out for it, I think
They
it
adjusted
wasn't.
for it.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it was specified whether it was older or younger
Yeah.
when I went out for it. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was just go there, say words.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been like a fast-paced experience, right? Like it just what episode are you on right now shooting?
I think they're
Right.
shooting 5 now,
Yeah.
and there's 10.
Okay.
So there's 10 in total.
And you're on 7 out of the 10 episodes.
No, they're shooting 5, and
Yeah.
then we had the table read for 7 today.
But you're on 7 out of the 10 episodes that have been ordered.
Oh, I'm on 8.
Oh, 8.
I will be on 8 out
Yeah.
of 10 of them.
This
yeah.
is so exciting.
You guys, this is bullshit. I can't find this Garrett Mallory.
Yeah.
Look,
I can't find it.
look,
I'm all the way
Garrett and
down. Look,
Mallory,
who are these
happy
Pallavi
people?
Gurung, I might have just
That's not my
lost-
name again.
Garrett
No, I'm
and
doing it for
Mallory.
a
I
fact.
know. I'm
Um,
also doing it for a fact.
I might have just lied to your I might have lied. I know that it was like some characters from a television show.
I'm so sorry that I checked you on this. I didn't even mean to. I
Yeah.
was
No,
just a
I was-
Happy Days
I
fan, and
mean,
I'm like,
no,
how
I
come
was
I
People
don't
also
need to know. We
curious.
don't want
I
to
was
just
like,
spread
remember.
misinformation.
I didn't want to do that.
I wanted to. I was like, fact check.
It is.
I don't know.
also
Fact check. Fact on the
fun
spot.
piece
Fact
of
check.
misinformation.
and also the internet is telling me my last name's Ganalan, so that's weird.
Weird.
Google's wrong
that-
today.
okay.
I don't know.
It might have not.
Family
it-
ties.
That's
Family
the one.
ties.
See,
there
and
you go.
I think I have like a
Motherfucking
slight like
ties.
dyslexia in
No,
my
you
mind.
you had the era correct.
Yeah.
It was right era,
Wrong show.
right
Ties.
concept, just different show.
White people, families.
It was
I don't know.
It was
all
very
makes sense now.
precisely inaccurate. That's how you would
Family
describe-
ties. I will remember that for the future.
Justine Bateman as Mallory Keaton.
There we go.
Garrett and Tyler Merriman. Wait, is that right? Is it Andrew Keaton? I don't know where the Garrett came
Did
from.
you guys watch Family Ties? I never watched
I didn't watch
it.
Family Ties.
I did watch Happy
We
Days.
were a
though.
Happy Days
Maybe I
family.
can't find the Garrett.
Yeah.
Now. Damn.
I haven't seen any.
I
of
watched
these
all of
shows.
that shit. I
Probably
watched
should've.
all of those shows.
Would
Nick
you
at
name
Night.
Would you name your child after a TV character that you were very fond of?
What child?
Do you
I
want
don't
kids?
know.
I was about
What
to say.
baby?
I mean, if you were to have
What
a
baby you
child-
talking
We were
about?
just
I
make
don't know.
another brown woman
If
in
you-
America.
Would you, Zara?
If you adopt a
Referencing
child
her
one
jokes.
day,
I could maybe make a baby. If I made a baby, I would probably name it.
Schmallery.
Yeah, I don't know what I would name it.
Mallory.
I don't think I would name a character after a TV.
But like out
No.
of the
Show
4 of us,
person.
you're the one most likely to have a kid.
why? Because they
she's
talk about it.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean
'Cause you
I'm
want one.
likely. But that doesn't mean anyone's trying to knock
But would
me
you
up
name
actively.
your? Would you name your?
You're also the
I'm gonna
one
poke
in
holes
a
in all your condoms.
relationship, and you want one, and
Are
you
you still
want to
seeing
get
that dude?
married,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still
Like-
seeing the dude.
and you're
Yeah.
financially stable.
He's sweet. He's a nice dude.
Would you name your daughter Cersei?
Maybe. Actually, I was thinking of naming her Arya.
Arya. That's.
I have a friend who
Yeah.
has a daughter named Arya Clark.
I have a friend who has
That's
a
weird.
dog
That's
named
the
Arya
name
Clark.
of one of the
No, I
cast
mean,
members' wives,
the Clark.
Arya. I was like, why does that name sound so familiar? Yes, she's very pretty, so
yeah.
it might work
well,
out.
Arya from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, I said
Yeah.
I knew a
that's
dog
also-
named Arya.
Oh,
Yeah.
a dog.
Dog. Oh, you thought I said something else.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what?
dog?
I think names are hard. I
Dominatrix,
think naming. I names are hard. I think
yeah,
they're hard.
because that's like that person's brand and identity
For the rest of their life,
lives.
unless
you
they-
know?
Yeah, your
My
brand-
dad almost named me Lisa. That would have
Whoa.
sucked.
You are Lisa, actually.
What?
Yes, I could see that.
I'm a fizza.
Lisa Desani.
I'm like literally a fizza.
I could totally see you being a Lisa, though.
Wait, what does literally a fizza mean?
I could literally see all three of you being Lisas now that you've said it.
Yeah, but Lisa's like
There's
the
a
most.
Lisa in all of us. Let's be real.
I feel like Lisa is very non-denominational. You know,
Le- eh.
That's only because of The Simpsons.
It's
let's
boring.
Be real.
maybe.
I mean, I don't want to like throw shade at people
Lisa
whose names are
Frank?
Lisa, but like
She had to be a freak.
You are
Lisa.
You
Lisa
are
Loeb,
Lisa
Lisa
Frank
Lampanelli.
in a person.
Lisa
You're Lisa Frank,
Marie
like
Presley.
personified.
Lisa Frank.
I don't
You're
know.
Fizza Frank.
Well, what are-
If Lisa Frank was an Indian woman, she'd be Fizza, I think.
Yeah.
Is she around? Was she a person, or is that just the name of the brand?
I don't know if it's just the name
I'm
of
gonna
the.
look this up too because I've been curious about Lisa Frank for a while.
I love Lisa Frank.
I love Lisa Frank.
art.
I had all the stickers.
Did you?
I'm
did
just
you
here
do
for
that?
us to Google random things.
What?
That's all.
Lisa Frank shit.
I don't know what
Lisa
it is.
Deborah Frank is an
Oh.
American businesswoman. She's 64 years old.
Lisa Frank was like all this like stationery that young girls
You
used to
didn't
have.
see
It was
it?
like the
Yeah, I'm gonna
rainbow
show
colored
her.
unicorns.
Oh my God.
and
It's all the trippy shit
you've
from our
seen
childhood.
all the. You've seen
Oh,
this.
I've never seen this.
Yes, you have.
Maybe I have. I
You
don't know.
have.
It's like any like stickers, fucking Velcro, Trapper Keeper, like everything.
But it
What
didn't,
games did you
It
people
didn't
play
touch
as
your
children?
heart though.
What do we play?
As children.
I think she's trying to age all of us right now.
No, I'm saying, did you play with like figurines? Did you play
Barbies,
Barbies? Did you like?
Trolls.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
My
had-
Little Ponies.
I had Barbies. I liked my stuffed animals.
Stuffed
I had,
animals, yeah.
I tried to sew clothes and stuff for my Barbies.
Koosh balls.
Um,
Stretch Armstrong.
It's so interesting because I feel like
I played a lot of boy games too.
I played a lot of weird games. It's like there was a friend of mine who had plastic food in her like closet, and we would just play restaurant all the time. And it's like that's not a game.
I
like
know, but
no,
it's
there-
make believe. It's
there's-
make believe restaurant. I had that. I had like
Yeah.
a Fisher Price
Yeah.
kitchen
A
where I
lot-
would like cook.
we didn't cook. I mean, we just literally. It was all like she
Fake
had
food.
just. I can still picture.
That's a thing. It's
the
like
impressive
a
amount of
collect.
plastic
There's
food.
like a collection. What are those called? They like
What?
buy things to add on to it, the food and like all of that stuff. I forget. It's like a specific brand
I don't know.
of toy.
Fisher Price.
No, there's
Yeah.
like there's one that's like all the kids are having now.
Oh,
But I forget what it's called. But
I don't know what
it's
kids
like
are doing
they're
now.
like, I want this kit, and it's like an extension pack of like plastic food.
Every time I
Copy
like
that.
the sound of kids screaming, just like makes me itch.
Have you ever been on the bus at 3 p.m.?
No.
When they all get out of school, and you're just like, oh,
So
I forgot.
Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend. I
Getting
was staying
comfortable.
with my cousin in New York while we had our facial rag show, and she has an 11-year-old and a 16-month-old. And the 16-month-old is adorable. I mean, he just like he goes through like 14 diapers a day, but he's adorable.
14 diapers?
And
Is
really
that normal?
I don't know. I think he's just
That's
a
a
growing
lot.
boy. I mean, he's just like, I don't know. Maybe it was 10. I don't know. It all whatever. But he's just really sweet, and he's just like just learning to walk. So he's like discovering how he
Yeah.
can balance and stuff. And he's like really cuddly, and like he just wants to smile and play with you. Meanwhile, the 11-year-old is like rambunctious, and he calls his 11-year-old friends over, and they're all just like destroying the house together.
They're so loud.
So it's like one end of the spectrum to like, I really want this baby, to the other end, like, oh, that's why I don't want a liability anywhere
well,
near
yeah,
me.
it's gonna turn into that.
Yeah. So it's like,
But although
eh.
you weren't really selling it. I'm still stuck on the 14 diapers a day.
I know.
Probably before you get a baby, you should figure out what the good range for that is.
But
Yeah.
but the
Is that good
cuddles
range?
are like, oh, it might be worth it. I don't know. I don't know. But
Have you ever wiped a
Um,
baby's ass?
all
Yeah.
the time.
Of course.
Of course. I don't think I've changed a diaper.
I think I babysat when I was in college. I babysat this woman's 2 children over the summer, and I quit after a while because I was like, "This is too much work." This and that
Child
baby,
rearing?
that baby wasn't that cute. Like the little baby was like not that cute, and it was like very fussy and like
was it the first time you acknowledged that not all babies are cute?
no. I've always been aware of that. I mean,
As a baby, she was like, y'all aren't cute.
I mean, some babies are cute and some babies aren't cute, and then some babies become more cute, and then some babies are cute, and then they become not cute.
Yeah.
There's a
It's like
range of what
peaking in
can
high school.
Yeah, there's a range of what can. Yes,
Damn.
yes, except yes.
I peeked in
earlier.
utero.
Yeah, a baby.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So no kids.
I don't know. I don't feel. I think it's like if it happens, it happens. You know, and I'm not so.
But you don't have a TV character name ready
I don't.
for.
I definitely don't
Okay,
have
good.
that. I think naming fictional
Punky
characters
Brewster.
is hard. Yeah,
That's
Punky.
cute.
Punky.
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 You can name it Brewster.
We have a-
Brewster is cute too.
I feel like you've just given a bunch of soon-to-be moms that idea.
You're welcome.
Brewster
we have a lot
is
of
going to be
pregnant
all
moms,
over.
pregnant
all
ladies
over.
following our podcast.
Do you know
Yeah.
how many brown?
Exclusively pregnant
I know
women.
so many brown baby boys named Aiden.
That's a really common name.
So many.
And,
oh
like,
my god.
It's a nice name 'cause
Combinations
it's
of
similar.
that. I have a cousin
like
named
Maya.
Caden.
Yeah.
I have
yeah.
another
That's
mean,
brown name?
friend's
I
nephew
also
named
know
Aiden.
Caden.
It's not
Caden
even just a
and
brown name. It's just a
Aiden,
American name.
Caden,
But it's an
Hayden.
American name, but it's not a brown, like a Desi name, right?
No, it's not. I
But
don't think
just
it's a
being
Desi
applied.
name. But it might
Actually,
be one of
do
those names that
know-
are like sort of like it could be Desi.
That's like Aria.
Yeah.
Aria is Desi.
I have a cousin named Ariana.
Oh, nice.
That's sort of like that in
Yeah.
between. Can be American. Can.
What do your families value?
Families in
That's a
Wait, what are our family
Wait, what?
values
In
No,
what?
what do your families value?
My-
Like, do they value marriage and children?
like
or-
our parents? Because
yeah, your I'm
I
saying
think
your
they do.
families.
I think my parents do value those things, but I think I've recently talked to my family about wanting to be a comedian, like as my career, and they were very supportive.
Oh, nice.
And we had this whole conversation about how I was like unhappy doing some other things, and my dad was like, it's your health and happiness first, and he's always valued education and independence. And so I think I think they have like their priorities right with like wanting me to be skilled and independent and happy and healthy. And they always like throw in the family stuff, but I established early, I was like, I'm a fucking weirdo. Don't put this shit on me. When I was like a kid, I was like not having it.
Is he worried? Is he worried about your financial stability or financial future, or was he like, you know what, it's gonna be fine. You're a rocket scientist too. Everything's gonna work out, etc.
He was like, he actually gave me I cried during this conversation because it was so emotional and powerful. He said, when you did your undergrad and you weren't sure about your master's or whatever, and you were kind of wandering, your mother was a little worried about you, but I was never worried about you. Like, I figured you'd find your way and figure out what you wanted to do. And then with the financial stability for comedy, he was like, yeah, but happiness is important too, and I can understand that. And I think, and so he felt like confident in my abilities. And by the end of the conversation, he was like, so what do we need to do to make you a successful comedian? Which is
That's so
wow.
so amazing. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, the last few weeks have been like really rocky in my school and stuff, and so that prompted these conversations, and it gives you like way more confidence when you're not worried about your family worrying.
it does take a load off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't realize I was even carrying that baggage because I'm so used to it.
Yeah, I was holding my family up to the stress I felt when I was a kid. I was like still feeling that stress and not giving them the credit that they had evolved and changed their perspective too.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love it too.
Yeah. When was this?
This was a couple weeks ago, so I've been talking to them for like a few weeks. My brother I told a while ago.
Yeah.
But my dad's been like, he's just been so chill about everything.
That's nice.
Yeah, he said like all the right things.
Have you told them the other thing too?
No.
From your joke, okay.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
My brother I have, but not my
Okay.
parents.
Tight.
But I think this was a bigger thing.
Spoiler right now. Let's do it. No, joking.
You've said it on the
joking.
podcast,
Well,
right?
do
I don't
they?
think so.
Does
Oh, okay.
anyone listen to the podcast? Like anyone from your family and stuff?
I don't know. They follow like facial rec on Instagram. And
I don't
stuff.
know. I've been outed. Like anything I've ever discussed on this podcast has completely been outed.
You have two, like,
Because my parents don't have no idea like what's happening
You have
on
too
the
many
podcast,
cousins.
but like I have too many cousins who
They
just want to
all-
blow up my spot.
So
Are
they
they like? But
listen.
you're so
They
they're like so.
subscribed.
In other words, they're fans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my cousins are fans.
fans.
You know,
One of my cousins
good
listens to a
fans,
bunch of
bad
our-
fans.
Shout
Yeah.
out to who?
all my cousins.
What are their names?
I don't know.
There's 50.
Yeah, but name some of them.
I can't.
It's like Fritik, Ashmita,
Gurung.
Gurung.
I love that. That's my favorite. Gurunk. I sound like Gronk or something.
That's
Gurung.
someone else's name. Gurung. It's somebody else's name, and I've clearly
Yeah.
dyslexia'd you into.
I love
Yeah, there was
it.
no hesitation.
What
it was
up,
just
Gurung?
Pallavi
It was
Gurung.
And I was
pure
like, no,
confidence.
No, rewind.
You're like, you have known me 4 years.
only 3 at most.
That's more than 2.
Yeah. Facts.
We can do
Again.
math. All right.
Wait, so what about your guys' family's values?
Yeah, like what brought up that question?
I was
No,
just
I
just
want to know
curious.
your guys.
Oh, me.
Hmm.
I mean, mine aren't always congruent with my family's. So it's what do my parents want?
Yeah.
Because, okay, I mean, they want me to get married to a doctor and to be a doctor and to give birth to doctors.
And to
Yeah.
have a pet that's a doctor.
No.
Have they given up
But-
on that dream yet, or are they still like,
Yeah,
we can make a hard Yui. We can make a hard Yui.
Yeah, you know what? They're actually, I'm going to say they're supportive because I think at this point they understand that happiness is super important. They
Yeah.
understand the value of happiness. They understand that now. I don't know that. And I think they actually, my dad expressed that and this was years ago and I had no idea, but what he thought what I was doing is courageous. And I had no idea.
Aw.
And my dad, he's not very, words of affirmation or not. That's not his love language. So I'll find out,
Ooh, that make me want to smack you in the face with a dick. That was tight. That was very LA.
words of affirmation.
You're like,
Yeah.
no, words of affirmation
language.
is not his
Yeah.
love language. Was just, that was a load on me. That washed over me personally.
Well,
that
it's his-
coated me like
That's
cough
not his
syrup.
form of communication. you know?
Right.
So, I mean, one time, I think he brought up some video I made in high school, and he was like, yeah, that video, was really funny. And I was like, you didn't crack a smile when you watched that. You liked that? And it's just that's just how he is.
Yeah.
So it was, I might have projected a lot of, it's that whole thing of maybe I didn't give them the credit of evolving. And
Yeah,
of course they
people.
evolve because, from when I was a kid to now, that's been a couple
I
couple
think-
years.
I
So
think they
they've
also-
had that amount of time to grow themselves in
think-
addition to what they started out with
I think also
when I was born.
something happens. I feel from watching my parents, something happens when they see their child in pain, and it forces them to open their perspective because that's such a visceral feeling, and to figure out how to, alleviate that, they have to force themselves to
And
change.
also the pain of maybe not getting to be in your life as much because because they haven't accepted who you are.
Yeah.
Because they probably feel pain in their own lives because it's like if you have children that you raise and then your children aren't a part of your life because you can't accept who they are, your life becomes more empty as
Yeah.
well, it seems to me.
And then I also think about we're not the little kid has died. So a parent,
Oh, that's dark.
well, that's true. When we grow up, that little child, it exists, but not in this, moment. It exists within us, but
I think the potential of the little kid has changed, right?
well, the parent might get attached to holding their 9-month-old baby, or their 2-year-old.
But you don't think there are still some similarities of Fizza the 9-year-old and Fizza the
yeah, my dad will still probably but
yeah.
it's still different, It's still I don't know. That's interesting. I always think there must be some mourning of that. It's like I'm still
continuous
here
as you're growing, right?
Yeah.
They're always like, I wish you didn't grow up so fast.
because it's that version. I'm not that third grader,
I know multiples now.
Yeah.
A friend of mine
I did
sent
geometry.
a friend of mine sent over a friend of mine from elementary school sent over some of our some writings and stuff that I had
That's so
done.
cute.
And I was pretty saucy. I was
Really?
there was I got her a birthday card and it was I wrote it out. Just this birthday card was just inside, if you guess the right number between 1 and 10, you'll win $60,000. That's what the outside of the card said. And then she opens it up and it's the number was .00000000000000007. It's you probably didn't get it. Oh well, what the heck? Here's $10 anyway. And I was just who is this child?
But
Who is
it's
this?
still $10.
Who is this person? But it was just so you forget that's
You had a
forget how-
personality.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a little that's a
You were doing clickbait back in the day.
that was clickbait. That was
Yeah.
that was handwritten clickbait.
Of
Thank you so
course.
much.
Of course. What is your family value?
I've been thinking about that, and it's I think the immediate family and then the extended family, they're two different things. I think that everyone wants their kid to be happy. Really, you want
I
your kids.
wouldn't say that's the case for my family.
They don't want you to be happy.
No.
They want you to be happy doing what they want you to do.
Yeah, that's exactly it. My family is be a good Muslim and be independent and self-sufficient in case you're left on your ass one day. So
But you're doing that.
Yeah. So the second part, I'm okay. But the first part is just so much more important to them where at this point, they've just kind of like given up, So like whatever I do, they're just like, but you're not a good Muslim, you know? So it's like, all
what do you
right,
need to
well,
do to be a good Muslim?
probably marry a good Muslim boy and have some good Muslim babies and I don't know, like go to the mosque every day or something. I have no idea.
I would get a list. I would like be like, yo, if you could send me an email or a text with some bullet points.
Oh, they
Yeah.
Just want
would.
to see what's feasible.
Oh,
They
I'm sure
probably
they
You
would.
include like
would.
a cover letter of our mission statement. and,
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to go crazy, but just something simple.
Yeah.
Just
Just
you need a
yeah.
rubric.
Yeah, and then
I mean, there's
think
already the 5 pillars of Islam.
Yeah,
so the
there's
lists are
just-
already out there.
I'm not talking
There's
about.
so
but
many
you want
rules.
to know. There's a lot
For
of
your
rules,
parents.
but what's like? You're like, yo, so clearly I'm not hitting this good Muslim bar, and like, let's just like, why don't we just narrow this down to 3 bullet
You're
points?
trying
Like,
to fuck with them a little
I'd
bit.
be like, what do you
yank their
want to
chain.
see? What do you want to see to define good? What does good Muslim mean to you? And then have them
Yeah.
really think about it and get back to them with 3 bullet points, and maybe you'll be like, done. I'm sorry, I can't deliver on that one.
Yeah,
you
but
know? and then
honestly-
engage in a negotiation.
they were hammering
Hardball.
all
I
that
like
into
how
me
you
for so
enter
long.
the war room when talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, man, it's this table.
Yeah.
It's this table and these microphones.
No, there's
You
that
also
ship
don't
sailed a long
wanna-
time ago.
You don't want to I feel like you don't want to bend to it because you're fully in your life.
Are you close to them or?
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. I don't think I have been since like high school. I don't think it ever. Yeah,
Do you still talk and
Since
stuff?
they
or?
kept you close in proximity, they held you. They
pretty
held you
much.
close.
Yeah.
Then she escaped.
Then I escaped, and then
Do they live close by or?
they're in Jersey.
And do you talk and stuff or?
I mean, there was a period where we weren't talking for a few years.
Yeah.
And then recently we've started to talk again, like this year.
Yeah.
But that's difficult after like being estranged for so long.
Sure.
And then I think
In what way?
we'll just
Like specifically?
well, it's just like awkward. It's
Right.
awkward trying to like, because at this point you've like agreed to disagree and not bring up all like the things that caused the estrangement in fear of like going back down that road.
Right.
But then, you're still. I think at this point we're fundamentally on 2 different sides of like any argument. Aside from like, all right, be a healthier human being, and don't break the law.
Hey.
Yeah. So it's those are
So
basically
there's
it.
some
Yeah.
overlap.
Yeah. So
Don't
I feel
break
like
the
there's
law.
some laws. You
So
would
I,
break.
I think no, but honestly, if I feel like as a
there's
family member, if
She
any
does
of those,
math.
yeah, if any of those things are
You're
truly in
tired.
jeopardy, then it's like, okay, now we gotta like work together to fix it.
What if you could
Yeah.
build like a nice memory together, like not start from like the deep stuff and be like, you know what? Ice cream, and then take it from there.
Yeah, everyone's lactose intolerant
That is a sad thing.
It's also
when-
like your
and
trust,
diabetic.
your-
So-
your trust has been broke. It's like a breakup where you like
Yeah.
try to make it work again later, but then it's like, hey,
Yeah.
remember when we like just gave up on each other, right? Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
that inner feeling.
Mm,
yeah. But
It's tough.
but also
is
it's like a huge burden off your shoulders, right? If you don't have your parents to like try to, appease anymore, like if you've completely just severed that, like,
So is there less
thing.
pressure now that the dynamic of the relationship has changed?
less.
Less pressure.
I would
to
say, yeah, there's less
appease them.
pressure to appease them.
even
like,
though you guys are have.
I
reconnected.
mean, they could feel whatever the fuck they want, but at the end of the day, like,
it's them.
that's them.
You hear
yeah.
that? You hear that, Gurunk?
Gurunk.
Go tell.
Good
Go
on
tell them.
Mohammed, that one's for you, Mo. No.
Anisha.
Anisha.
You guys are just
Sushmita.
straight, these are like straight up Indian names,
Yeah.
Hindu names.
So the question is, but is there some sadness? Like you miss them?
I think it's sadness. Like I miss things that I never had. Like I miss like like through just thinking about like all the things that like were so difficult, like, oh, I wish things weren't as difficult, Yeah. But I don't really like, I don't really, I miss the food. that part I miss.
Yeah.
And I miss the reunions, you know.
Right.
And sometimes when you sever tie with your like very desi family, with your parents, you kind of like sever ties with your extended family. And I miss my aunts and uncles and my nani and my nana, and I miss those things because I really truly enjoyed Eid and seeing everybody and all the holidays and stuff. But like, you can't really partake in all of that if like your nuclear family is not like intact.
You don't think you
sometimes.
could reach out to your like nani and nana?
Oh, I do. Like I'll call and I'll FaceTime, but it's like, yeah, I think, and also it's like no one's picked sides from the extended
Well,
family
'cause then
either.
What's
So
going to
it's
come
like-
up when you talk to your extended family? How are
Yeah.
your parents? So then
Yeah,
it's
but like the thing is like everybody else knows and everybody else is very diplomatic about it. So it's like we're not getting in the middle. So it's easier for me. It's just I'm in LA. So
Right.
like I don't really need to be a part or like
And if you showed up to like Eid, and
yeah.
then it was like you'd be a little bit of a wedding crash, and your parents would be like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing here?" And you didn't tell us, you know?
Yeah.
Throw your
Yeah.
own Eid.
I do that sometimes. Me and Fizzo went out for Thai food one Eid
Oh,
like a while
yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the last time I celebrated Eid.
Really?
Yeah.
I try to do something. I'll do a brunch with people. I'll
You
whatever.
do a pork brunch.
I'm not like that's the thing about religions is the ritual doesn't really appeal to me. Holidays. I mean, I understand it's sort of cool to collectively do something together, but if the ritual doesn't mean something to me, it just feels like I'm moving through the actions.
And sometimes I think a ritual can be really comforting because
Yeah.
it's like, so like, I didn't really love, I'm Sikh.
So
and
is religion a replacement for OCD? Because I think it might be.
That's hilarious. Like I would say, but think about like I would go to like a gurdwara as a kid, and I didn't really like going because I think I was like ashamed to wear the Indian clothes or whatever in like Florida next to the mall that was shaped like an alligator.
Oh my
Because
God.
why not,
Which
guys?
city did you grow up in?
I grew up in Boca Raton, but the
alligator-
alligator mall was Sawgrass.
Sawgrass.
Yeah.
That was shaped like a alligator. Wow.
Yes, I wasn't lying. They're not all fake news. Not everything that comes out of my mouth is
Are
fake
you
news.
sure it wasn't a crocodile?
I know. Oh shit.
Oh,
no,
Wait,
because
so
it was
growing
Florida.
up, you
Days.
didn't like going to the Gurdwara and stuff?
Well,
But
what
you're-
I'm saying is that, but when I remember when I went to India and I was very far away from a lot of my family, it's really cool to be in a totally different part of the world and do a very familiar thing.
Yeah.
Where you know exactly what to do. Like you can be thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away, and it's like everywhere in the world, this is the same thing. There's something very calming and
Yeah.
grounding about that I really appreciated. You know, I was surprised to see that it's like everyone knows what this thing is, and it can feel just specifically because it's a ritual, because it's ingrained, it
I
can
think
kind
when
of
there's
feel
choice,
like home.
it's different, but if it's like okay
Sure.
to go to celebrate this particular thing, you have to go here and do this, this, and this, and it's like, well, maybe you just want to show up. Like maybe I just want to go to Saudi Arabia and see what it's like, and not have to, throw stones at the figurative devil.
And be yelled at for your forehead titty?
Yeah, and be yelled at for my forehead. You know what I'm
They
saying?
had the
Which
Like,
bang
forehead titty?
police? They had the bang police after her.
Because in Saudi Arabia, the custom is to cover all of your hair. So like I have hella baby hair.
Yeah.
So like several times, and like it was irritating at the time, but like these women probably thought they were doing the right thing by saying, hey, cover this. But it was just like I was over it.
Right.
It's 100 degrees.
Like
100
God is
degrees.
not.
I'm
That's
trying to make a number
I
up.
get that though. Like
Yeah.
if there is a God, He's not going to be mad at you because you have like a couple of bangs
I'm gonna
hanging
stop
out of
you
your
at he.
hijab. Or she, whatever.
it,
I'm sorry.
it. I prefer
I'm sorry.
it.
I was
Shit,
raised in a
shit.
very
She, he,
patriarchal
it.
religion and society. I apologize. Sometimes I say he when
You
I
don't have to
really
apologize.
want
The
you know?
patriarchy needs to
to.
apologize.
Seriously.
We're waiting. We're waiting for that
Is
apology.
it happening? Hey, Paul.
Everybody.
Paul,
Paul,
can you
just say you're
apologize?
sorry.
Can you
Paul?
apologize on behalf of the
Paul's
patriarchy?
refusing to apologize.
He doesn't have a
and
mic.
That is why the patriarchy.
Yo,
is
Paul's
winning.
got some suspicious facial hair right
Right?
now. He's got like
We were
this
talking about
mustache that I don't really understand what's
Stash.
going on.
So
I like ritual
Okay.
sometimes too.
Wait, so I wanted, Kiran, we were talking about,
Wait, I want to talk about liking ritual too.
yes, legging
Get into
ritual.
I
it.
like it. I think it's funny in like Hindu culture where like now we're at the generation where like our generation is just doing things and repeating after the priest,
Yeah.
and we don't know what we're saying, but everybody's like laughing, like at like weddings and stuff. They're like, "What do I say?" And then they're laughing, and then the parents are like, "I think it's this," but they've also forgotten some of it.
Sure.
And I think it's very comical.
I think,
Then
yeah,
it
I don't like to be forced
bonds
to do
everybody.
ritual that's empty, that has no meaning for me. If I want to, that's different, but like, it's fun, so you're getting something out of it.
Or dogma. What you're talking about is dogma.
Yeah, dogma I have a huge
it's
issue
the
with.
dogma. I went to a wedding in Fairfield, Iowa this past Labor Day weekend, and there's the people who do transcendental meditation. There's a community of them in Fairfield, Iowa,
Yeah.
because they believe that that's the center of where like peace happens. And now
In Fairfield, Iowa?
that's correct. And it's
Okay.
like transcendental meditation. It's quite popular in Hollywood. Like Ellen DeGeneres does it, Jim
Oh,
Carrey,
yeah.
like all these people.
TM is a huge deal.
It's a huge thing, but
Yeah.
like this Maharishi is like worshipped in this community of maybe somewhere between 300 and 2,000 people. And so the wedding, one of the people in the wedding grew up in that community. So we all had to fly to Iowa, which I don't have time to get into, but the field wedding or whatever. But he was saying,
There was
I
a
thought-
wedding in a field?
yeah, the
okay.
field, the tree,
Oh, okay.
And
the
this is
tree wedding.
A person
Tree
you were
wedding.
close to, because
I'm close to
good on you for showing up to a wedding
couple.
there.
It was a couple, and yes, I adore both of them. They're wonderful people.
Yeah.
But he was saying it's like because it's like TM again, seen as very progressive and all this stuff like New Age, and it's like what is but any kind of infrastructure, whenever you kind of organize it with people, even if like the core of something can be what the
Pure,
experience is, or like the Bible or whatever the book is, can have like really good tenets. But then when you put people on top of it, and then their opinions, their beliefs, their biases, like then
Their
that,
interpretations.
their interpretations,
Yeah.
then that can start to create the dogma. And that like, the hypocrisy of like what somebody eats, or maybe treating their child bad, but making you cover up your baby hairs.
Yeah, that's
or
at
whatever it
at
is.
the
Yeah.
root of it, the seed of it is like love, right? Like be kind and love people. So it's just like all that other shit is just like, well, if you do this, you're gonna go to hell. If you do this, you're gonna go to hell. If you like stick your tongue out, you're not.
I'm definitely
you might
going to
go-
hell.
See you there, baby.
Hey.
Hell's
mean,
going to
yeah,
be
I
pretty
think it's-
lit
I think it's just
if it's a thing.
those rituals were just mindfulness before we had a
fear-based.
word for it.
It's fear-based. I feel like all religion maybe came from like spirituality, like a love-based place. That's like one operating mode, and religion is just, it's supposed to be a form of comfort. I can see how it would be. That's why I said like it could be like sort of, the ritual.
I
can
think it's
be
because I
comforting,
was
but-
so separated from it ideologically.
Yeah.
I was
Well-
like able to be like, this is fun cultural shit.
Yeah.
Or it'll be like, what's the intention of sometimes the intention versus the societal culture of something can be very, very different.
Yeah.
So it's like what the intention of like Jesus is supposed to be teaching love or whatever, but that's very different than like, so how did we get to like, homosexuals are bad from that, or what? You know what I'm saying? Like
Because
these-
it was something that was convenient for someone.
but or it's
to make
read
that
or
law.
it's that's an
Yeah.
interpretation, but like that's not like the fundamental narrative tenet of like what the what the main thing is supposed to be. And
Dogma's the extra shit.
yeah, most religion is like that, right? It's like I think fundamentally it's all supposed to be pretty like be chill.
Have you been to a Pakistani wedding? I mean, you have.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to a Pakistani wedding.
We just
the men
really
and women
glazed
were
over
separate.
my summation of what religion is, which was
No,
be chill.
I'm with you. I think we're all with you on the beach
Yeah,
hill.
you're totally on
Yeah.
that.
Yo.
But this
You
was
should
this was
start a
piggybacking
I
cult.
mean,
on that.
Fizza is very
think you'd be a
anti-dogma.
great
We've
cult
talked about
leader.
this many
Yeah.
times on
Yo,
the
be chill.
podcast.
Yeah, so this is we're on
We're with
the
you.
same page.
We're on the same wavelength. Should we go find a tree and do some
I think
transcendental
Karen would be a
meditation?
great cult leader.
I do
Yeah.
too.
You're so
It's alwa-
charming and you're very passionate.
Thank you
and
so
I
much.
think you would have your pick of the women to have sex with. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you
Like-
so much. I really appreciate that, but not the men.
I mean, yeah, but they always
The
fuck
men
the
too,
women.
honestly.
Thank you
I'm
so
talking
much.
Yeah,
about
for
like
sure.
the basic cult culture. It's usually a guy and he's fucking all the ladies.
But
Oh,
why
I got
can't she
you.
fuck everybody?
She can. I'm talking. I'm talking.
This
joke,
is a new cult,
the
okay?
joke was,
This is
Yeah.
a cult in 2019.
My
joke
cult,
was
my
the-
rules.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, everyone.
And
Do you
they're
want to be a
like
cult
Okay.
leader?
I've always thought it was, I was like, just take India to the next level. You know what I mean? Like, just lean in. Why
Yeah.
not? Why
Lean
not?
in.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that Kumari documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he grows the beard and
Yeah.
then he wears a lungi and then he goes to Arizona and he does start a cult and then he actually helps people and they get better. But like,
And then he's like, I'm. a
and then he's
cult-
like, psych,
yeah.
all of this was fake. And half the people were like,
Wait, did they
"Dude,
get arrested? Kumari and the whole.
no,
clan? Did
that's
what am I
That-
thinking
no,
of?
no, that's
That's
the
the
Am
one
I
in
thinking of?
Wild Country,
yeah.
but that's a
Yes,
different. That's a
sorry.
different one.
That's not-
Osho.
this
That's
is-
Osho.
I was
She's
thinking
talking about a guy who
different
created
cult.
a fake cult and then
Yeah.
was doing it as an experiment for the documentary and then revealed himself at the end.
Yeah, got it. Cool.
But he helped to elicit actual change. His real message was the answer is inside of you only. Gotta love the placement of only at the end of the sentence. You know?
Yeah, well,
That's a very,
that's where
that's a
dogma
very
starts,
Indian
right?
thing.
Very Indian. Love
Very
that.
Indian.
Love that. The answer is inside of you only. That's what he taught. But people, it galvanized them to create change in a way that then became very morally questionable. My mother hated this documentary because she was like, this feels like very manipulative and like it's like you've gone beyond like the joke and it's like you've taken people to a place where they're quite vulnerable and they're telling you things about themselves
Yeah.
in a real way and you've really established trust in a way that feels a little schmarmy.
It's wrong. It's wrong when you gain people's trust and then take advantage or manipulate.
Yeah,
them.
like
It
for
is the
yeah.
most spiritual version of punked that I've ever seen.
Spiritual, yeah, spiritual punk.
Oh,
It left a
man.
bad taste in her mouth in a way I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't.
Well, yeah,
I
you're
see- I see where
you're
she's coming
toying with
from.
people's emotions. You can't do that.
And then
That's
also, I
right.
bet they would have a lot
Which
of
is why
trust
my
issues
cult would be a
after.
real cult,
well, they were manipulated.
huh?
They were manipulated.
Yeah, which is, I mean, technically what cults do, but not in my cult.
No one's
Everyone
being
gets to have
What's
sex
your
with me in
cult
my
name
cult.
going to be called?
I
And
haven't.
what are your
I,
followers
what,
going
did
to
I,
be
what did
called?
I tell you? I have
Karen's
trouble with
cult.
names. I
Cult
don't.
with a
Names are
K.
not my. Like the beer. I don't know. I don't know what the cult's name is yet, but I'll work on it.
But your motto would be "Yo, be chill."
Yo, be chill.
I mean, I think that would be the heart of it, but I'd probably
Yeah.
wite out. I make it a little more
you
official.
should make
than
like a,
that.
Like a manifesto, yeah.
A womanifesto, a
Manifesto.
femesto.
Manifesto.
Femesto.
Manifestos are always
violent.
very intense. They do feel violent.
They feel
It
Yeah.
feels very violent. A manifesto.
I feel like they're just scribbled in like pen, like over and over again,
I feel like I
deep
would have
marks
something
in the
more like
paper.
notes. You know,
like little notes that you pass, like
notes
in a
or
classroom.
a memorandum on how to live or something. You know, something a little more, something with a softer touch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know what your cult would be like, but that's just me.
cults freak me the fuck out. I had an experience in a cult. In
What?
That-
You were in one.
It's-
well,
Islam?
by
Was-
accident.
was it
Yeah,
Midsummer?
religion. That's
Wait,
a whole other
that's what you
story.
referred to
Is
it.
this college? Like what?
No,
what
no,
are
this
we
is
talking
post
about?
college. This is with like.
You're like,
Here in
this is
LA?
yesterday.
Here
No,
in
this
LA,
is
you're in
like-
a cult. Or
Well,
maybe
it wasn't-
Is this Scientology?
No,
Are
I
you
would have.
Scientologist?
We'd have. No,
This
I
would
don't
be
wanna,
way
I
more
was doing
successful
positive
right
self-talk.
now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I was like, I'm doing positive self-talk right now.
This is a long game she's playing.
This
Yeah.
is the situation.
No, but you know
room.
that dude who like they wrote that article up about, like the guy who won the-
Yeah.
so this I sort of fell into like this social group which turned out to be a cult. And
tight.
yeah,
Tell us about
it
that.
was pretty tight
Oh
initially.
wait, really? That
I think
ended
that
up
happened
being
to a friend.
cult?
Wait, this
Yeah,
is
I
what
mean,
we were
it's-
talking about 2 months ago,
yeah,
where that
there was
article
like a name
came out,
for
right?
it, but like, you know,
Is this like a year ago, 2 years ago, or this year?
It
Like
was
how,
this
how
occurred.
recent? How recent was your experience? This
oh,
experience?
this was like probably 8 years. It was
Oh,
a long
s-
time
oh,
ago.
a
It was
long
a long
time
time
ago.
ago.
Okay, got it, got it,
It was
got
a
it.
long time ago.
Okay, so go ahead. Tell us.
I mean, it was just it's someone who is charismatic and basically depletes their followers of, you know, their source. They're like, you know, their energy. It's like energy vampires. That's what I think of cult leaders.
Wait, in what way? Why are they depleting? In what way were they depleting? Like, were they getting you to give them their money or
Not in this way. This way it was an abusive relationship.
example?
So, I mean, there was rape.
Oh, that's not great.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's just the physical. There was a lot
Not
of more
great
subtle.
from Kiran Deol.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great at all.
Not great. That's not so good. Okay.
But the thing is, when people,
Other than the rape, was
the
there anything
people who
else?
join cults are vulnerable, right? So there's some sort of vulnerability that this predator will
Predator.
lean into, will sort of find.
I didn't mean to minimize the rape.
Can we did we just get that clip for
Yeah.
our teaser? Other than the rape, was there anything else?
No, just
good.
no, not great. That's really not great. But I'm just curious because
Yeah.
it doesn't start with like
not chill.
not chill. That is not chill.
Not chill
Rape.
at all.
It's like in the
I want to say
memorandum.
not chill.
Rape, comma, not chill.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, I guess my question is this: when the cult starts, right? It's like the guy comes up, and you're not starting there. You're not starting from a place of like you're at a frat party. you drink too much. It doesn't start from a place of like sexual assault. It starts from, like you said, it starts from like a cool place, and then there's probably like a gradual shift.
He curated a social group, and this is one of the most manipulative, powerful people. This is a second generation Hollywood person.
Okay.
So there's a lot of resources here, a lot of privilege, a lot of access, and someone who's never been checked for his behavior ever in his life until maybe very recently, and now he's like a grown ass man.
Okay.
So the seed for this cult started in college. He started a Facebook group and just added a bunch of us without our permission. Just added a bunch of us. I didn't see him for 2 years. He moved back to LA. And he just started, I didn't know.
But did people want to be in this group?
Because he'd have these like $1 million parties, and he definitely lured people in. There was an allure to that, the lifestyle.
I feel like legacy cult leaders just don't work as hard. Do you know what I mean? Like if he's throwing the party with the money he already has, it's like he doesn't even have to siphon that.
It was just given
from
to
his
him.
followers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so easy to be a cult leader.
That would hurt
my
his
God.
ego.
Oh yeah. I don't think he was putting his
It's
heart
like that.
into it.
Those trust fund cult leaders. They're just not doing.
Yeah.
They're just not
They're
the
not.
elbow grease of the self-made cult leader.
It's not what America was raised.
No,
But it wasn't like, here, join this. Like, it wasn't organized like Scientology. It was just like you started hanging out with this person, he weaponized love. So people,
So
this
he
is
had
someone
parties.
who
So this was a guy who had parties, and then what happens at the party? He's like,
they're insane. There's drugs everywhere, and he wants to be the center of attention. He spends all this money on, like, there's probably Ferris wheels and shit. It's crazy. It's insane. It's some shit that, like, most people, we move here from, like, wherever the fuck we did. Like, bumfuck Florida is where I'm from. And, like, this is, like, some real Hollywood shit. So there
Right.
is something that draws you in. But that's not even initially what drew me in. It was the first time we connected, he cried about something that didn't happen. So the basis of our friendship was us connecting
Yeesh.
on the death of someone who never died. And this is after a year of being pursued relentlessly.
He feigned
during
feigned
college.
vulnerability.
Exactly, which is a common
get
tactic.
And emotional
sympathy from you.
manipulation.
Yeah.
Kumari.
Yeah.
and so it's like feigning vulnerability to gain your trust.
He's
and
a true
empathy.
predator. He's
Yeah.
a true predator because most people, when they meet him, he used
So
to
that's
say
where
it.
it starts.
Bad first impressions. Everyone has a bad first impression. So it's like, how is he so charming and able to bring people in? And
What do you
he's
mean?
So
When
fucking
he has
skilled.
people have a bad first impression of him,
Yeah, because he's an asshole. He's a notorious asshole.
and then people just kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. How much do you believe that we should, like, the thing about like trust your gut instinct versus like be open and get to know new people? I find that to be
It's very
kind of
difficult.
That's a quite a.
It's really
people
hard
don't
for
do it.
me specifically because like I either I have all my walls up or I let everybody in, and it's like because I don't have a good sense of who sociopaths are. So it's like it's really hard. I have to like vet. I seek outside.
Sociopaths, all sociopaths
Yeah,
listening,
can you
just keep
come
that in
slide on my
mind.
DMs?
Pallavi Gurung.
Yeah, look up
doesn't-
Pallavi Gurung.
She doesn't know who sociopaths
I
are, so
don't.
just keep that in mind.
I talk to no one. but yeah, so it's like hard. I have to seek outside validation with friends that I trust and have known for a long time and be like, hey, is this reasonable behavior? Should I give this person a chance? But that's not even finding the power with myself. Like that's not the solution.
Well, you know what's so interesting?
That's interesting.
is like that
Because I had to default to someone because I was like, I clearly don't know what I'm doing.
the guy
At
that
least you know that.
the
Yeah.
cult leader dude. So a good friend of mine told me, he's like, why don't you give a guy who wants you a chance? Because like I was stuck on this guy who was like unavailable, emotionally unavailable. So like, and this guy, like I said, he was pursuing me relentlessly.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't know. That's the thing, is you just don't know until you get to know someone. There's no way to know someone's a sociopath unless there's unless you hear a document, because it takes years to understand that someone does not have a conscience.
And it's
it's
not on
how can you prove something like that
It's not on you to
without
like
evidence?
to assume
A
that
body of
people are
evidence.
lying. Like your base assumption is that people operate similarly to you.
Yeah.
And you can't to think that everyone's lying would be paranoia, you know? So
Right.
it's like
I don't think it's paranoia, but it's also no, it's not paranoia. I really
to
don't
assume
think
everyone's lying.
no, but to question people.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, I don't assume everybody's lying, but I also don't assume that everybody has the best intentions when they're approaching me,
Do you have that,
especially
like,
men.
Do you have that like
When
trust
men
no one
approach me, I'm
mentality?
like, oh, he probably wants to have sex with me. All right, does he want anything else other than sex from me? Like in a social setting, you know? and men will tell you this. Like, I approached you because you were attractive.
That's
like,
just facts.
that's just fact, right? So it's like, all right, you approached me because you want to have sex with me. Let me now maneuver the situation. Because anything other than that, if a man approaches me for anything else, I just assume it's for a professional reason.
So here's
you
the
know?
psychology that is interesting. Like, because
Yeah.
I talked to a harassment expert for, some research for a project that I was doing. But the paradigm of what she talked about in terms of what predators look for
Yeah.
in the case of grooming and sexual harassment, which I found absolutely fascinating, was like, she said that
There's grooming, yeah.
so like, and this was in the STEM sciences. She was like, in the STEM sciences, you have women who largely like maybe weren't the most attractive growing up, or were always valued for their intelligence or whatever else. So like, if you've been very attractive from a young age, like I've seen it in my young cousin who's stunning, right? It's like, even from the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, you learn to deflect that male attention in a way that to navigate your life.
Yeah.
Because it comes at such an early age, so you learn to deflect it, and it's a skill set that you actually learn over time how to deflect that effectively without like catering to the male ego. But unfortunately, like let's say that. So a lot of these women in STEM, it's like they were like the smart ones, so they never had to learn to
That skill set,
to that
yeah.
skill set of deflecting that behavior. But then let's say they get into a program where it's like
That's comedians also. It's like
it's like
Yeah. We
didn't
comedians
grow up
too. I mean,
cute.
we're in largely male-dominated environments where you're dealing with like a woman, like
Yeah.
a woman who might have not been treated, and then they get to a place like an astronomy program or a physics program or the world of stand-up comedy where you've never been valued for your beauty, and then all of a sudden you're getting all this male attention because you're attractive and you think you're networking, or you think that like you're just making friends with the people around you, and you didn't develop the toolkit to kind of navigate that level of attention, and like that's on you, and that
I
harms you.
Just started wearing crop tops 2 years ago. Like, I didn't know. It's just, yeah, I think it's like a thing of, I was in like nerd culture and did not expect that, and those things weren't valued, and then I was dropped into comedy.
And that was the thing where, so just this idea that like, so in that case, it's like a harasser or a person who is a predator is particularly good at spotting those people who don't and then kind of frog in water style pushing the boundary. It's a hand on the knee, and it's the person who doesn't go away, or it's the person who comes back and it's like, oh, it's probably in my head, or he's just being friendly or whatever else. And then it's the next thing, and then it's the next thing, and by the time that they realize the water's too kind of hot, and then you find yourself
You're
in a position,
invested.
yeah, or it's like
Attached,
something
groomed.
happened, yeah, or something happened that like, well, you let this happen, and then there's so much guilt surrounding the moment that then they don't want to say anything. But it's a very conscious, it's a very conscious process on the part of, somebody who is grooming or harassing someone. And then it's just so interesting that you say that the narrative skill set of like, that's obvious. Like, I was the same as Pallavi. Like, that did not occur to me as obvious. Like, if I was in a setting and like at the improv or whatever, and I'm new to comedy, and like somebody wants to hang out with me or they're being nice, I was like, oh, we're all comedians here. We're all just like getting to know each other. We're all networking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that wasn't clear to me.
Yeah.
So like learning to navigate that in your adult life, I find
It hits you hard too.
It does
'cause
hit
it
you
feels
hard.
very like, I felt like everything fell at once. Like when I was dealing with a sociopath, and then I was like, oh, like now I can't trust anybody. I have to assume every dude wants to fuck me. I have to assume all of these things, and then my walls just went up, and now I
Well,
don't date.
yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah,
Is
that's
this
what
from
I mean.
dating a
I've come to
sociopath?
terms
Sorry,
with.
Yeah.
just to catch
it's
up.
just
Yeah.
it's just hard because because there are like, yeah, maybe a guy approaches you because you're attractive, but that is not this, like, there are guys that do that but aren't sociopaths.
Sure.
And you can still be friends with those guys, right?
Yeah.
Like,
or
so
they
it's
wouldn't
like,
be like, or they're not going to shut you out as soon as they know that like
you're
Sex
not
is
going
off
to date
the
them.
you're not going to
Yeah.
date
Yeah.
them. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I'm
But
never.
those guys, they make the effort over time, like the non-sociopaths, the guys that actually do enjoy your company and want to be your friend.
Right. It's
And
just
that.
hard to tell for me because
Yeah.
if I have that mentality of like, okay, now they all want this or they want something from me, then it's like
Yeah.
hard to like you become paranoid.
What did
And
you
it
say about
changes the
men
way
being
you
shit
move through the
investments?
world.
What?
Would you
I
say
said,
about men
oh,
being shit investments?
I said they're like really bad investments as people because they're so volatile. Like if they were stocks, I would never invest in them because so much comes out about them, like harassment, assault, like whatever.
That's
I'm
funny.
like, I like partnering with women because I'm like, they're much better investments.
that's why it's like it's
financially
exhausting.
too.
Yeah.
You're like it's like a nice safe savings
Yeah,
bond.
it's
Yeah.
like
It's a bond.
And
a
it's-
conservative savings bond.
And it's like, who wants like, when you know that, like, okay, this is not reliable, who wants to put in all that effort to vet each guy? Like, that's so much
it's
work.
so exhausting, and it constantly we're constantly like losing friends that in this business that we thought were chill and then find out they did something.
This
Then
is
the
why
thi-
you don't have friends. You know,
You're stupid. But it's
Kidding.
like, but there is a fundamental, what you're talking about is like, there's like just a deep unknowability to people.
Yeah.
Like there's something that's like a deeply unknowable. I've dated people and it's like a year in, they turn out to be somebody different. And then it's like somebody else is like really chill the first night you meet them. So, I mean, I think the what you're talking about is a fundamental like unknowability of like who a person is, like when you get them behind closed doors. And that becomes extra scary when there's a size differential between a man and a woman that
Yeah.
like, you know, we're all relatively small people, like who aren't, I mean, I'm, you know, got a big bark, but like, it's like fundamentally, you know, I'm not a particularly physically strong
Yeah,
person.
I
Push
mean,
So
comes
that-
to shove, I'll fall
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. I mean, you're
And that's
when
why
you're
I
with
like
a
to push
physically
and shove
stronger
you.
man.
You can be
yeah.
overpowered by The Rock,
yeah,
physically.
Yeah. We all can
And we all
be.
can.
Are we all comparing ourselves to the Rock?
I mean,
Does
I
he
feel like
push down
most
everyone?
most humans can be physically overpowered by the Rock.
Yeah.
But
So there's that size differential.
you know,
So
but
that
you're-
I think
yeah.
that part of it is like a part of the equation where it's like, because I think sometimes men can say like, oh well, women can be that way too, and I 100% hear that. But I think the fear
Yeah.
around the difference in the size and how that becomes, and men who aren't aware of their size and how that can be intimidating, especially when you can't read social cues or you don't know what the woman is thinking or you're not giving her space or time to like figure out what that is. That becomes dangerous.
Yeah. I explain that to men too when they're like, oh, like, well, women hit on us at shows and they grab me and they do this, and I'm like, oh, are you afraid you're gonna die in that moment? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, that's the difference.
One time she tugged on my dick really hard, and she seemed to think it was a garden hose, and that was scary.
It was very skinny.
Run away, dude. Or you could have just shoved her away. Like you could have if you wanted to. I don't know.
I mean, it's still like shitty that happens to them, but
Yeah.
just to explain the difference is like you're not afraid for your life. And you're in conversation with women, you're not afraid that they might turn on you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think now they are. I think now they're afraid that all of a sudden all these guys are afraid that they're going to get Me Too'd. And I'm like, what
But
is your
that's still-
behavior
that's
that
still
you think you're going to
different
get
than
Me Too'd?
dying,
That's
right?
true.
Like it's still a different.
I mean, it could be career
You're
ending,
afraid
but-
for being
yeah.
called out. That's what being
Yeah.
Me Too'd is you don't want to
Yeah.
be called out in your bad behavior or your destructive, hurtful behavior.
It's a hard one when
I don't want to
yeah,
send values.
but I understand that it's like, but then you as a human being walking through the world, regardless of those people, you're going to have the best version of your life if you can be open and calm
Yes.
and like optimistic and positive and like grateful and all that shit. And it's like that
And all that shit.
and all that other shit.
that transcendental meditation shit.
Yeah, or just like what like that's going to be the best version of how you can live your life,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, so how do you kind of stay in that space when all that other, you know, given the minefield
How do you
and yeah.
protect yourself while staying like the kind person that you were as a kid? You know what I mean? Like that's I have trouble with that.
It's
So
hard.
So you've switched
Yeah.
like you
Boundaries.
said you have a similar situation to me, but how have you transitioned?
Meth.
Okay. Well, I did grow up in Utah, and they have a bunch of meth houses.
Meth
so that'll
is the
be returning
answer.
well.
Yeah.
so,
It's not
yeah,
meth.
that's the answer, right? Meth.
End of episode. Yeah, I don't know how to.
Is there a
translate.
real answer beside meth?
I think that's a very hard question. I mean, I would say that it's like, well,
Have you gotten better?
yeah, and
Yeah.
I would say one thing is like also understanding that like it is not necessarily a threat. Just like I think for a long time, I was talking to Sam J, who's a comedian, about this. I don't know if she remembers this
she's
conversation,
dope.
but this was like pre-SNL.
Sam
And-
J, writer on SNL.
Yeah, so
Hilarious.
fun.
But she was like
I
one
just saw her in New York.
one night it was at the Improv, and I was like, I'm trying to get better at like remembering that like if some man hits on you, I said this, I was like, I'm trying to like they don't mean it like for like they don't mean it. They're not trying to insult you. Like, it was like, how I almost felt like insulted.
I feel like that.
Like,
sometimes,
almost
too,
insulted.
yeah.
Like, how, like, what do you think I'm here for? You
Yeah.
just think I'm here to, like,
How fucking dumb do you think I am?
like, you think I'm just here to be hit on by you because you have a dick? Like, I would get insulted,
Yeah.
which is, like, not super great. And I was like, I'm trying to remember that, like, it isn't, like, the person is not trying to insult you. It's like, they might be, like, awkwardly giving you a compliment, or, like, try to remember to, like, be open and a little bit compassionate and forgiving. And then she goes, well, how are these people hitting on you? You know?
Yeah.
She goes, how are they hitting on you? Is somebody like, yo, what's up, baby? Like, what, you know, like, is it, you know, how are they doing it? And I explained a couple of scenarios, and then she's like, fuck that dude. There is nothing in the way that you are moving through the world that should make that person think that that's appropriate. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like, there was also this thing of like, of course you should be offended. How dare they? Like, how dare they?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like somebody politely being like, hey, I really like you. I'd love to take you to dinner. And then
Yeah.
you being like, oh, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? It's like,
What is it? What's the scenario?
Well, yeah, what did he say? Now,
I think
now
in
I'm
this, no, I
interested.
think in this particular instance, it was like, you know, it was like a conversation about, I don't know, somebody, it was a professional conversation about like somebody. I was like, oh, like maybe this person in New York could like help you out. And then that person was just using it to like get your number, and then, you know, kind of
Oh,
like,
that's
and kind of like,
shitty.
and kind of like weasel their way in.
That's the worst.
Which is happening to like a friend of mine just moved down from San Francisco. She's found herself on like two accidental dates. She's been on 2 accidental dates. I was like, this bitch is gonna like be at the altar being like, well, I didn't know.
This is what this happens when you first move to LA.
I just went
For
on.
sure.
I
Accidental
told you
dates.
guys about that accidental date.
Fizz
with
is
the
good at
fan.
accidental dates.
You went on an accidental date with a fan?
Yeah, he's like, you want to get like, but he was sort of like a long time fan, and he's younger, and like it didn't. He's one of those dudes. It's like I felt insulted. I was like, really? Like you thought this was gonna be a date?
Yeah.
Like
Hey, he was shooting a shot, you know?
Yeah.
Like for you
I
can't
think-
blame the guy.
you know what?
I think
It's
we
my
just need to be
problem for not.
cockier. Like if men, like you look at men sometimes and you're like, you're hitting on me, and then you're like, wait, why am I not shooting my shot with these hotties that I think are out of my league?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
We
should do
that.
That's the lesson to take away.
Yes.
And it's also like,
Shoot
but it's
your
also like
shot.
if you want to be in a relationship, then it's like opening yourself up to that vulnerability
Mhm.
of like being willing to like put yourself in that position, which isn't like there's things that like don't feel super comfortable or super safe for any of, you know, for some of us. Like that's one thing that like always feels super uncomfortable for me. You know, that like the beginnings are very hard in relationships in general, but like whenever you're starting the beginning phases of something, how do you stay like open
It's a
and
risk regardless.
of course, but how do you stay open and vulnerable at that, you know, beginning when like your past experience tells you that this can be very dangerous or this can be very detrimental
Practice,
from
Yeah.
moment
yeah,
by moment.
yeah, practice. It's like a learned skill.
Getting those hours in.
Getting those
Intimacy hours.
But that's I think where I'm like, oh, I feel like this will take a lot of time and effort, and I don't want to have to vet all these people. So then I just don't go on dates.
right.
Because I'm just like, it's been so bad. I know I'm going to have to put a lot of effort in. Whereas before, when I was younger, I was like, yeah, I'll date this person. Yeah, I'll date this person. And it was never that scary because I was around all these nerds that were like vetted in my school, you know? And then like coming out of it, it was like just anyone. And I just, it was too much work to do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I don't know. There's some sort of filter if someone's in college. It's not the best filter, but it's
It's not
something.
even that. It's just like your friends all know each other.
Yeah.
There's social repercussions.
So then can you meet somebody through a friend?
Yeah, but I try to go to like birthday parties and stuff, but like it's rare.
Yeah. And even then it can be shady.
Are you
Like
super motivated
can be
to
shady.
meet someone?
I'm not super motivated, but
No.
it's like I think part of the reason is because I see looming how much work it'll be.
Yeah.
Just to even find a person that I might like that isn't scary.
And I think the other big thing is like, what is the risk to reward? Like sometimes
Exactly.
if you've, because there's people who are like in serial relationships for like long periods of time. And it's like, I notice some of my friends who have like gotten out of major relationships are very quick to find the next person. And I think that's because they have so many of the positive memories, no matter how painful it was when it ended, they were like, they have a bank, like a vault, a savings account of just like all
Yeah.
of the good things they get out of a relationship versus, you know, so it's like, I want that stuff again. And so that like gets you over the hump of the work that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't have that bank or you haven't had that bank recently, it's kind of like, or you've had a tremendous amount of pain
Yeah.
from relationships. And that's the prescient like lesson that you've had, you have to kind of unlearn that behavior, because it's like
Yeah.
because then why would you be motivated? Why would you be motivated to like put yourself through, you know?
I literally will swipe on dudes and like match with them and and when we match, I'm like, ah, shit. I like literally have that
that's
reaction.
Like,
funny.
now I gotta talk to this
yeah,
person.
like, oh, what if they message me?
Yeah,
Like,
you need to
yeah.
like, I don't.
you need to get off the apps. Then that's just fatigue.
That's not even. But I'm not
but-
even talking to that many people. It's just the idea of this relationship.
But that's
of, like unlearning.
that's
these
a
things.
you thing. Like you don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, we're talking
like,
about that.
Yeah, so it's like
We're talking about.
But here's
me
the thing:
things.
like, if you don't want to be in a relationship, why are you even bothering with the swiping and the whole like?
Because I
you
want
know?
to like stay open, because I don't want to become a weird hermit of a person who can't connect to people. So I'm still like, I still have that
Part of
internal
her-
reaction,
Part of
but
her
I'm
wants a
trying to.
relationship.
yeah.
She's just
No, I
afraid.
get that.
I'm
yeah.
just like trying. Like it's not. It doesn't motivate me. I'm like not.
You're like every guy I dated in New York.
Oh,
I'm just like
damn.
not ready for a relationship right now. Like I just
really
need to become
hurt
more
by
like
this one
financial
girl,
stable.
and now I'm gonna be a bitch to all of you.
So-
except
Oh,
I've been hurt
guys.
by like more than one girl, and one of them was
I
an
know, we
insane
get it.
person.
We
I
get
think
it. No,
someti-
we get it.
the bill like the press stuff for this thing came out, so like that kind of gave me a finite deadline where I've like never really tried like those apps. So I kind of took the summer and I really gave
Did
it
you
a
try?
Oh, you
Yeah.
did?
I was like I treated it like 20 minutes a day, and now
Part-time
Was one of the
job.
was
Yeah, I
one
treated
of
it
the
a little bit-
pictures you on a billboard?
but I
So which apps?
No.
Which apps did you try?
Hinge,
Okay.
Coffee Meets Bagel,
yeah.
and Bumble.
Did you
And
have your like? Did you say you were an actor and a comedian on your profiles?
I think I said I was a writer. I think
Okay.
I put writer.
Yeah.
You know, just because. And then there was a picture of me with a mic,
Yeah.
like doing. And then I would tell people I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
And then I didn't bring up the show. But I was just like, because it was like a finite with a deadline, I was just like, let's just see. Like, there's no expectation that this is gonna work.
Yeah.
But let's like, what happens if you really give this a try every day? And to be fair, like about 3 to 4 weeks of that, I was out of town. So
Yeah.
that's not fair. So let's say a real month of like doing it every day. And you learn a lot about yourself. And then you also learn like the habits of other people. My friend
Yeah.
said this, my friend Rory Uphold said this. It's like when you date one guy and then another guy and another, like when you date them in order like that, what you start to see is like, oh, men are like used car salesmen for their dicks.
Yeah.
Like they all have like similar tactics. They all have like what can I do to get you on a 34-year-old, like, you know, modeled, like used, you know,
Yeah.
Caucasian model today. You know what I mean? Like, what can I do? Like, you know,
Yeah.
this is a used
That's
Toyota
great.
Prius and like, you know, that's like,
They're all used.
they're like,
Oh,
exactly.
this
But the point
fun.
is, but this idea of like, you can start to identify patterns. And I thought that was really interesting and valuable because I felt a little naive to that because we do expect people to interact the way that we do. And it's like, oh, I think you're cool. Like, you think I'm cool. You're probably cool. Like, you know,
Yeah.
and a little bit of like your own naivete. So you can kind of like start to like temper that or take things slower or whatever it is and like learn stuff. And then I was more forgiving than I normally would be. And yeah, there's a lot of people out there who are real pieces of shit.
Yeah.
What can I say? But like, you know, at the same
There's-
time, I looked at it as a learning experience. You know, this is a learning experience, whatever. And these are strangers, you know, so
Yeah.
it doesn't, you know, it's not.
It was a good
low
experiment for
stakes.
you, though.
I learned stuff.
Yeah.
And I stepped outside of my comfort zone. So I
That's
feel
good.
like, you know, that
Yeah.
was, you know.
Did you find out new things about yourself, like new things that you're interested in that you didn't think you'd be interested in?
Give
Or are
me-
you open to like different personality types or anything? Did you open yourself
gotta
up
go?
to a new
Yeah, I
kind of
gotta go.
guy or a new type
We
of
can do this as
person
a
that you
two-parter.
haven't?
They're totally bored by this question.
No, no,
No,
I
we're
have
just-
to go.
Oh,
Yeah,
she has to
you-
go.
yeah.
But we
Copy.
could also like keep talking and do this as a two-parter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys want to keep going.
Well, yeah.
We don't have to. We can also just end this.
No, just go. If you don't. Yeah.
Well, when did you guys
This is
start?
meaty. We're talking about.
Meaty.
You have a whole.
We should probably cut all the
dating
poop
experience.
shit at the top.
No.
I
Guys are
missed the
hilarious.
poop stuff.
That's
Oh.
hilarious.
Wait. Sorry, you had your question.
Sorry. No, I was asking, did you find out something new about yourself, like something new that you're interested in? Did you think that did you find out that like you're interested in another type of guy? Did you stray from your usual type of guy?
I don't have a type.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we
So
talked about this.
There's
You
no
don't have a
type. It's not like a person doesn't look like a certain thing or whatever. It's like person has to have a sense of humor and
Right.
be funny, and they need to be nice and somewhat intelligent, and like
somewhat intelligent.
somewhat
and I need to.
Ah.
I mean,
And clean? Clean? Do you
And
like
I need
clean?
to, and I need to find you attractive.
Okay.
You know, I need to find you attractive, but it's also like, you know, somebody. It's
There
just
has to
really
be some chemistry.
some
Yeah.
chemistry, you know, or something that makes you go, huh?
Have you ever had chemistry with someone where you were like, this person? Like you were surprised?
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later.
Bye,
Yeah.
Fizza.
Peace, girl. Yes, I have.
Did you work against your instincts or did you go with it?
No, I went with it. I don't think you can. That's a rare thing, you know. Like, and don't relationships start in all different places?
Yeah.
Like some people you get to know over time. Some people you feel like a spark of chemistry. I don't know. I don't know what the right way is. I've tried different stuff, or it's like, oh, I don't feel like initially attracted to this person, but I think they're really smart and clever. Like, let's see what that looks like. I've tried that. Like, I've tried stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just
I've tried stuff.
I've tried stuff.
You're open-minded.
I've tried stuff. There's been
Yeah.
fingers up my butt. No, that's weird, gross.
No shame.
Sorry, Muhammad. Sorry, Muhammad. Sorry,
That was a
Anita.
great callback.
Don't knock it until you try it, honestly.
No, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
like, just and then see what works and what doesn't. But I think at the end of the day, now the big thing for me is like, I've put a lot of work into myself, so I'm not. I like don't have.
Yeah.
I don't have the bandwidth. Like somebody has to kind of have their
Meet you
shit.
at your level.
Somebody has to have
Yeah.
their shit together in the sense of like
They have had to put the work in on themselves.
That's
too,
correct.
Right?
Yeah,
or
like-
at least
Like you don't want to be
working
there.
on
You
themselves.
don't want to be there to like completely repair someone else either.
yeah,
Like you're not ready for like a home improvement project.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Like it's like you
Yeah.
like
How much money are you going to put back into the used car? Like, how many times are you going to take it to the mechanic?
yeah.
Like,
How
Yeah,
used is it? Are we
Yeah.
just driving it off the lot?
Yeah.
Has it been certified? Like that kind of stuff.
Smog test.
Yeah, exactly. Because you want like at this point, I feel like you need to have. Like you're not 20, you know what I mean?
Tired.
Like
Yeah.
it's not like grow together and figure it out. It's like come as like a kind of a fully formed person, or just at least like, and you don't have to be perfect, but just be aware of yourself. And like, if somebody doesn't like who they are, you can't fix that stuff for somebody.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's like you need to be in a place where like your self-esteem is okay.
I mean,
and,
everybody
like, all that
should
stuff.
be. I feel like when you're at a certain age, you should be like a work in progress. You shouldn't be like just a very tragic situation, like not self-aware, not working on yourself, not, I don't know. But like LA, it's just so many damaged people. It's so hard to.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do you think so? I mean, I don't know if it's. I try to remind myself it's a city of 11 million people.
It
There's a
is.
lot of people here.
There's a
That
lot of
we don't
people.
know,
There's
yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of people.
When I was here for undergrad, it was like I didn't know any of the entertainment stuff. I just knew like nerds and like concerts and
Exactly.
like stuff like that. And I never like saw any like I don't remember getting in like Ubers with SoundCloud rappers. Like I don't remember any of that. And then so like from comedy, I'm like, oh, this is a completely different world.
And it's
Yeah.
and there's a lot of microcosms here. If you're at
Yeah.
Caltech versus, you know, your like Domi in like downtown Koreatown versus, you know, if you're working in construction, like
Yeah.
it's all different. I mean,
Yeah,
there's so
and
many different micro communities.
You're right. And to be fair, like as entertainers, we're going to be around those people who are a little bit more tortured than other people.
Sure.
Right. So,
Or feel
you
the
know.
need to express themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
creatively.
yeah.
Well, we fixed it,
yeah,
which
we
is
did.
the
Did
most
we?
important
Okay.
thing.
We really did. So thank you.
Wait, do
I'm
you
gonna have a
feel
boyfriend
like
tomorrow?
are you like looking for a creative type? I'm wondering if we can set you up with someone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paul, do you need to go?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. Sorry.
don't you want to be here until midnight?
We were thinking to
He's
make
like
this
tight, space talk.
Well, we can. It's an hour and 30. So
Yeah.
okay. I'm glad that we connected over that because I have felt like an idiot a lot of times for like misjudging people and stuff. And it's because it's like you know, like you feel like you should know what everybody else knows, and you're just like, nope.
Yeah, no, but that's a trope.
Yeah.
That's not even just like you or me. That is a thing that happens.
Yeah.
To like a literal psychologist or a person who studies it was like explaining to me how this is
Common
like
phenomenon.
this is a common phenomenon that happens with a subset of people that you
It's
know.
the
Wait,
book
what
smarts
it-
versus
There's a
street
trend.
smarts thing.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
We were talking
that
about
part.
we were talking about earlier, like the person who like grows up not
Yeah, we were talking about like people in STEM. They don't necessarily have that
Yeah,
that guard up
so that
or whatever.
naivete. I
Yeah.
said like I've always felt really. I've recently
I
felt
get
really
that.
dumb,
Yeah.
and so I feel glad that Kieran connected with me on that.
Yeah, or this thing of like, but it's that same thing about like, that's why community is so important or knowledge is so important. It's, you could say the same thing about like, even like, if you feel like
Screenshots.
if you feel like you're the one, like if you feel like you're in an environment full of microaggressions, for instance, and you're like, is anyone else seeing this? This is why it's very important to have communities where
Yeah.
you can talk about that stuff, because you're like, oh, chill, I'm not crazy. Like, this is like a
Yeah.
thing that happens, and like, I'm not an insane person. And that's very cathartic,
Yeah.
you know? And then you deal with the fallout of that with meth. We got
That's
you,
his
Mohammed.
current solution to everything.
Yeah. Rough.
You have wonderful teeth for someone who's a big fan of meth.
Thank you so much.
They're veneers.
you.
No.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. They are veneers.
And you could see her teeth on the upcoming show on NBC.
Wait, don't you? What do you play on that? What's your occupation on that?
I'm a hand surgeon.
You're a hand
A
surgeon.
hand surgeon.
What is
Yeah.
what's the actual term for a hand surgeon? Is it an
Hand surgeon.
orthopedic hand surgeon? What? No?
I think she's a hand surgeon.
She's just a hand surgeon.
Yeah. She does hands and fingers. No
You
toes.
do. I mean, that's very believable for you.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm a hand surgeon.
Did
I
you
like
have
to say hand and not hand.
Han?
Hand surgeon.
Oh, you have
Like,
to say
I'm
it
the
fancy.
hand of the queen.
I'm a hand surgeon.
You have to
Yeah.
say it all bougie like that. Like that's
Hand surgeon. I'm a hand.
Yeah, I'm a
How do-
hand surgeon. I'm just gonna be working on your hands, getting in there.
That's
How
all
do
thing.
you say it like on the show? Like, do you introduce yourself like, "Hi, I'm Mallory. I'm a
I
hand."
think I've only
surgeon?"
had it. No. I think I've only had to say it once. It's like, yeah, I think it's funny because the whole idea is like he keeps mistaking her for like, he like doesn't. He's like, and you with your heart surgery, and she's like, hand. It's hand. Like I do hands.
Like, you know, hands.
Like
I
I do
don't do the
hands.
heart.
You
I
know
do
this.
hands.
Like you're my brother.
Yeah.
You know, like
What
that
does
kind
he
of thing.
do? What's Cal Penn's
So
character?
he's a down on his luck politician, city councilman,
Okay.
who's just
Oh,
been
that's
kicked out of
interesting.
office. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. I'm
yeah,
so excited.
yeah. It's a really
This is gonna
it's
be
a really fun
really
character.
fun show.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be so good.
Did you find yourself laughing a lot while reading the script?
think great writers. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a really I mean, the pedigree is really strong. And
Yeah.
is like in terms of the character development and and specifically the joke writing, I think is
Yeah.
very, very strong. So yeah, it's definitely in the vein of like the parks in Brooklyn, you know. So
That's
if you
awesome.
like those shows, it's
I'm
like
so
yeah.
excited to watch this.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a viewing party, right?
Yeah, we'll have to do something.
Yeah.
That's where you're gonna
Awesome.
introduce me to all these creative types.
I am. Yeah, I'm trying to see. I'll go through my mental Rolodex and see.
Tight. We
Yeah.
don't have to do that on
And
the
I
air.
will also
No.
be there.
It's okay.
I will
just-
come with
I
hot
I'll
want
be
Cheetos.
around, and
everyone.
anyone that hits on Kieran, I'll be like, "Get away from my friend!
Don't do
Stop
that.
doing that to her!"
Hey, just because you're not getting laid doesn't
You'll
mean
be
no one
you'll
else
be
can.
you'll be a physical wall. You'll create
Yeah.
a wall with your
I
body.
literally at clubs will, because I'm taller, and so the shorter girls that get like actually harassed by me, I like box out. I like basketball moves. I'm
Okay,
like,
but
defense.
sometimes you're cock blocking for people who actually do want to get laid.
No, I have self awareness.
Okay. All right.
Like,
All right.
I did that for the bit.
You guys, I am like a real basketball player.
Like-
I know when I'm playing defense.
I know how to get to hoops and layups and dribbling and
Okay.
boxing out.
This
and
is as far as this
also
analogy is gonna
full court and
go. Foul
like,
shots. Okay.
foul
All right.
shots,
Okay.
the clock.
Should we do our
running out.
closing questions for
Halftime.
Kieran or no? This is
we were done.
We're
we
done.
did it.
I
we
think-
did it.
yeah, I think
we
we
did
did
it,
it.
you guys. I think we did
we
it.
shouldn't. We don't want to do our closing things.
We could
No.
do it. We could do your closing.
We'll do a speed round because we all should. I have to go and do a phone call, but
Oh yes.
yeah, speed
Okay.
round.
Okay.
Well, we've talked build the stereotype, break the stereotype. What did you do this week where you built the stereotype of being a brown woman and broken it?
I got takeout Indian food and then I ate all of it.
So you didn't cook it yourself.
Breaking
but
the
it's still
stereotype.
Indian food.
Yeah.
So you built it.
But then you didn't eat it with a family or a boyfriend or anything, so you broke it.
That's correct.
She answered both the questions.
Awesome.
Brilliant. Of course. Yeah.
Very elegant answer.
Yes. Very much.
What was the other one?
The other one is
oh, what's
what's
it-
the weirdest question you've ever had to field
a dumb question
Like,
about
yeah.
like your race or your culture or like.
One time a man in New York was like, "So have you ridden an elephant?"
Oh my God, have you?
No,
I never have, and
I have.
I've always wanted to.
I
I
haven't.
have, but
Camel. I've ridden a camel.
Yeah, me too.
Ridden a camel and an
Camels are
elephant.
fun. They smell though. All animals smell. I don't know.
I got the mean camel. I mean, have you ridden a dick? Those smell sometimes too. So I don't know.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Karen. Where can we find you?
I'm on the internet.
Oh, okay.
And I'm in my house a lot.
Shit from Kiran
Address?
on the socials.
Physical address
Physical address where people
for all
can
those
come find
sociopaths
you.
listening.
Shit from Kiran, that's right, on social. And then I think
Is it the same for Twitter, Instagram?
it's all the
Shit
same.
from Kiran. Okay.
And then I run a weekly show called Peacock. That's Thursdays at 8 p.m. at Outwater Village in Club TG if you're in Los Angeles. and you
Such
wanna
a
come see
fun show.
Yeah,
So
all
fun.
of these
Fun
ladies
show.
have done it. It's
Yeah.
a really fun weekly. And then NBC, Thursdays at 9:30 starting September 26th.
Do we ever say the name of the show?
Sunnyside.
There we
There
go.
it is.
Sunnyside.
She
For
did
all
it.
my friends from Queens, watch it. Sunnyside.
Everybody.
Represent.
Fizz is not here, but her socials are FIZAADOSANI. You can find her everywhere. I'm Pallavi Gunalan, PALLAVIGUNALAN, or my alternative last name,
Ganalan.
Gunalan.
Ganalan.
Gurung.
Gurung.
Ganalan.
You know, like
Ganalan.
Gurung.
Say it, spray it, remember it.
you know when like
Ganalan.
something falls off the table and then you think you've caught it and then it falls again? That's a gurung.
Ganalan.
And you are.
I am Zara Ali. You can find me on all the socials at really Zara. Zara is spelled Zahra. Also, if anyone wants to design and build my website for me, please help me. Okay, thank you.
Our website is facialrecognitioncomedy.com. That's also our Facebook and our Instagram. Our Twitter is facialrec comedy. And we have a show coming up September 27th, New York Comedy Club,
11:30
Gramercy
p.m.
location.
24th Street and 2nd
We're
Avenue.
going to have a meetup afterwards. I'm not going to be there, but it's a great lineup.
Yeah, it's a dope ass lineup. Come, promo code FRC for $10 off.
And to give us money.
Use the promo code, because if you don't use the promo code, we don't make any money. Please use
October
the promo code.
13th is our LA show, West Side Comedy Theater, 9 p.m. It's the second Sunday of every month. Karen did it last night.
So fun.
Yay!
Crushed.
Such a fun show.
Thank you for being here. Do you have any last words?
Closing thoughts?
Keep it
Remarks?
chill.
Keep it chill.
Yo, keep it chill.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Thanks, Paul.